last class we read about asexual reproduction. Now we will read about sexual reproduction. What is sexual reproduction? Actually, sexual reproduction involves the involvement of a male or a female and a female parents. Now, in the sexual reproduction, two organisms, one male, one female, they have to interact and they have to reproduce someone similar to them. Now, but what is the problem is that in asexual reproduction, an organism reproduces when there is favorable conditions, but in sexual reproduction there is no capability from when the person or the organism or the animal is born. Means this ability is not present in that person or that organism from its birth, but in case of asexual reproduction it is from that birth. Now the phase just before someone acquires the reproductive phase is known as juvenile phase. But this juvenile phase is the term that is used to define the age group that is lower than 12 in case of human, and vegetative phase is the term that is used for plants to represent the phase of their life before their ability to reproduce. Now, when a person is at a juvenile phase, a human is at juvenile phase, he has no characteristics, no ability of reproduction. Now, then this juvenile, he undergoes some certain changes. Now, these changes occur in a phase. That phase is known as adolescence phase. This is the phase when an individual grows to get the reproductive capability. It is the connecting link. It is not the appropriate word, connecting link, but it is the mediate phase of juvenile and reproductive phase. Now, we will come into reproductive phase. Now, when someone achieves the reproductive phase, sorry, I forgot to tell you something, that during this adolescence phase, human being undergo various changes, physically and mentally. Now, in case of man, growth of beard, growth of hair in pubic region, is one example. And in case of female, the female undergo maximum changes, like one of them is enlargement or development of mammary gland. This is, I am talking about human beings. Now there are many such changes that occur during adolescence. Now, a person who is present in the phase of adolescence is known as an adolescent. Adolescent. Now, this is actually the age group from near about 12 to 18 in case of human being. This is general fact. Okay. Some appear really earlier, some appear late, and some Some stops before 18. Generally, most of the people don't stop, and some people a growth period goes on even after the age of 18. Now, after this adolescence phase, a human being or an organism is capable of reproduction, and he or she enters the reproductive phase. Now, in the reproductive phase, they have capability of reproducing. Now, as like in sexual reproduction, reproduction can only be done at a favorable condition. Now, what is the favorable condition? Now, first I will talk about the favorable condition in human beings. That is, we call that is menstrual cycle. Now, during this menstrual cycle, what happens? Female undergo few changes like ovulation occur, which means ovum is released, which is the only way someone can reproduce, because if there is no ovum and the sperm goes and gets to the region where the fertilization occurs, there is no ovum, then there is actually nothing that the sperm can do, and the sperm will die. Now, with an ovum, the sperm will fuse with the ovum to form a zygote. Now, ovulation is something that is really needed for reproduction in human being. Now, this not only ovulation, they undergo some other characteristic like increase in hormonal activity. This means that the female sex hormone, they grow. Means they get to the highest peak. Means they are released at the highest peak. They are released the most during this cycle, so that the ovulation is occurred smoothly. And if there is presence of sperm, then the fertilization and different other phases that is needed for reproduction goes on smoothly without any kind of problem. Now, in this menstrual cycle, ovulation occurs. If there is sperm fuses with ovum and zygote is formed, and further activities are going to be held, which we will know in next third chapter of your biology book. Okay, but if there is no sperm, then what is the case? What will happen? Now, if there is no sperm, this ovum has no work. Now, this has to be removed. Now, okay, I forgot to tell one more thing. During menstrual cycle, there is in the vagina, in the uterus, blood lining is formed. What does this blood lining does? This is the blood lining, okay? This blood lining does a vital role. What? If the zygote is formed, the ovum is fertilized, the zygote is formed. When this zygote travels all the way and comes to the uterus, these blood lining, they help it to get implanted in the uterus region, where implanted here, where the new baby, the zygote, the embryo will develop. Now, this blood lining that was formed and the ovum that was released, if there is no form, are of no use anymore. So what will happen? After a certain time, these ovum will travel where there is no fertilization. So this blood lining will rupture. This blood lining will rupture. And what will happen? This blood along with the ovum will flow out through the vaginal region, which is known as menstruation or periods. Okay. Ultra cycle is occurs in non-primate animals. Who are the non-primate animals? The sheep, rat, deer, dog. These are the non-primate animals. And the primate animals like monkey, elks, and humans, they in that case this occur menstrual cycle occur. Now, in the last video, we learned about sexual reproduction. Now, we will learn about effects in sexual reproduction. There are 3 events in sexual reproduction: pre-fertilization, fertilization, and post-fertilization events. Now, these 3 events occur one after another after the maturity, during after the intercourse. Sorry. Now, what occurs in pre-fertilization phase? Now, in pre-fertilization phase, the main thing that occurs is gametogenesis or gamete formation. Gamete, as we all know, gamete is a haploid cell. Means it has half the number of chromosomes of a normal cell of a human. Now, this gamete has to be formed by a process that is known as gametogenesis. Now, for male, the male gamete sperm is formed by the process of spermatogenesis, and in the female gamete, that is ovum, is formed by the process of oogenesis. Now, I will tell you something that in some organisms there is no difference between the gametes. Means the gametes are identical or equal or same to each other. Those gametes are known as homogametes, or they are also known as isogametes. They are equal, they are equivalent. There is no difference between gametes. Now, when different kind of gametes are formed, like anthroids or sperm in male human, or egg or ovum in female human. Now, you can see both are different structurally, functionally, both are different from each other in many cases. Now, those are called heterogametes. Now, we will move into what is called sexuality in organism. Now, what is sexuality in organism? Either the organism is unisexual or bisexual. Now, what is unisexual? I will tell you. One organism. This organism. Unisexual means there is only one sex present in that organism. Means the organism is either male or female. But in bisexual, in case of bisexual, in unisexual, male and female differ from each other in many states. Male and female. They may not look similar at all, but in bisexual, one organism possesses both the characteristics of a male and a female. Now, we can take example of few plants like pumpkin, where the plant produces both male and female flower, but there is no difference between them. Means I meant to say that one plant is there, 2 flowers are produced, one is male and another is female. They may be structurally different, but they are produced from one plant only. That is called bisexual. In some cases, like in some fungi, that is a special case, the homothelic or monoecious. Monothelic and homoecious, um, homothelic and monoecious is denoted the bisexual condition, and heterothelic and dioecious is considered to the unisexual character. Now, generally, uni means one, bi means double. So, uni means one organism has one sex, one parent has one sex, and bi means one parent has two sex. But here, the case alters. Now, homo means one, homo means same, and mono means one. That means one organism, this or someone of this organism has one sex organ, but due to it is special case of fungi having bisexual characteristics have homothelic, are called homothelic or monoecious, and fungi having unisexual characteristics are known as heterothelic and dioecious. Now we will move into flowers. Now in case of flower, the unisex male flower is known as stamen, and the unisex female flower is known as pistillate. Staminate and pistillate are two different unisexual male and female flowers. Now we will come into another term, that is hermaphrodites. Hermaphrodites are those organisms, generally bisexual is seen in plant, but hermaphrodite are those organisms in which they possess both the sexes with them. Like the best example for hermaphrodite are cockroaches. Now we will move into cell division during gamete formation. Now, gametes in heterozygotic species means those having two sex have two different gametes. One is named as male and other is named as female. Now, these gametes are either haploid or diploid. In case of human being, these gametes are haploid, but in some other organism, these gametes are diploid. Now, a human being has 23 pairs of chromosomes. Pair of chromosomes, but in male or female gamete, that is in a sperm or in a ovum, we have only 23 chromosomes. And similar in that case. Now, these 23 chromosomes are one each of these pairs. Means this is a pair, and this is another pair, and this is another pair. You can see 3 pairs of chromosomes, and when this sperm is formed, one pair from this is taken, one from one wire from this is taken and one from this is taken. Now, this is how the chromosome or cell is divided and the chromosome is equally divided. Now, from organisms, you can say like fungi, algae and other, the plant body is haploid, but the plant body is haploid and the chromosomes are also haploid. But in human being, the parent body is diploid, but chromosomes are haploid. Now, the set of the chromosome is placed or incorporated in the gamete. This is the cell, that specialized cell that divides. Actually, gamete transfer is a part of pre-fertilization process. Now, in that process, the male or female gamete has to meet its opponent one. It may be internally or externally, but they have to meet with each other. Now, for it, the gamete needs to be transferred from the origin to the other partner. Now, for it, gamete transfer is needed. Now, gamete transfer can be by any method. It may be directly by intercourse or by any indirect method like air, insects and others. Now, in case of plant, pollination is a process in which gamete transfer. In that process, now there are some pollen grains present in the plant. You can take the flower of hibiscus. Now, this is the flower of hibiscus, and you can see these are the pollen grains that are present. These are the pollen grains present in the plant of hibiscus. Now, when the gamete transfer takes place, these pollen grains spreads and they separate out and flies away with the help of insect or by the means of air, and they reach their destination. And this is how gamete transfer takes place. Now, we have completed the pre-fertilization stage. Now we are going for the first fertilization event. Now, syngamy. Syngamy is nothing but the process of fertilization. Now, what is the process of fertilization? The meeting or the fusion of male and female gamete is the process of fertilization. The process of, in biological term, we can say the process of fusion of male and female gamete is called fertilization, or in other words, syngamy. Now, the male and female gamete both combine to form something. What is that? That is called zygote. A zygote is nothing but a diploid cell that is formed by two haploid cells, from one from the that is already present in the ovum, and other haploid cell comes from the sperm. This is in the case of human being, I am saying. Similarly, in case of other plants and animals. Now, but there are some conditions, like in the case of honeybee and some other organisms, the fertilization process doesn't happen. Now, the cell is, the egg is developed in such a way that the egg is already diploid. Now, that egg, without any fertilization process, continue to develop at its own. And this process, this method, or this event of developing without any fertilization is known as parthenogenesis, and it is seen in case of honeybee. It is commonly seen in case of honeybee, and even some other organisms are there which show this process. Now, we will talk about what is the two methods of fertilization. This fertilization can be either internal or external. Now, I can say you that some take in case of human, this fertilization process is internal. Now all the fertilization process, the mating, the fusion, everything takes inside the female vagina. But in some cases, like in case of feces, in case of feces, feces and you can take frog, they lay egg in water, in the water body, the female one, and the male one release their sperm in the water body. Now the chance is less, but the fusion, the fertilization takes place external, out of their body, in the external environment, in the natural environment. So what you can say that internal fertilization is what, when the fertilization takes place inside the parent body, and external fertilization is that the fertilization takes place outside in the environment, not inside the parent body. Now we have completed fertilization. Now we will move on to post-fertilization event. Now in post-fertilization event, we learned to know that zygote was formed after the fertilization. Now these zygote after the fertilization, these zygote develops automatically, undergoes cell division, cell differentiation, continuously divide. Means, see, I am showing you a diagram. This is the cell, and it is after fusion. This is the nucleus. Now this will divide. How? See, it will divide like this. Complete one cell only. Now they become two cells, but they stay combined. Now these two cells will differentiate more and form four cells. Now these will differentiate further to from 8 and then 16, then so on and so on. That is called, just after the differentiation, that is called embryo. And the process of formation of embryo is called as embryogenesis. Now in the process of embryogenesis, we can classify all the organisms into two parts, that is oviparous and viviparous. How do we differentiate? Oviparous are those organisms that lay egg, and viviparous are those organisms that give birth to newborn babies. Now, how can you differentiate? If you get a question like this in exam and if you get confused, now remember this is the O, and the general egg size is similar to O. So remember, oviparous gives eggs and viviparous give birth to babies. Now, the oviparous give eggs that may be fertilized or may not be fertilized, but those eggs, those are fertilized, are generally covered with a cell known as calcareous cell. That contains a larger amount of calcium. Now, in flowering plants, after the fertilization occurs, the flower develop its petals and sepals, other fall up, thread and fall up. The zygote that was formed after the fusion develops into an embryo. The ovules that release the ovum, those ovules convert into seeds, and the ovary that was fused converts into the fruit, and these fruit have a thick wall, not a thin wall, they have a thick wall that is known as pericarp. Now, this is what happens after the process of after the fertilization process. This is the events of post-fertilization in flowering plants. Now, this completes our chapter reproduction in organisms.